As we are nearing the optimism phase, soon, very soon, belief, thrill, and euphoria will come, which will mean that extra liquidity is coming into the markets. What's up guys, Cryptomindd here. Let's compare my chart once again with the Wall Street cheat sheet chart. Now, here's the thing. The last time that I placed this chart was 38 weeks ago. And then we were finding ourselves in the hope phase. And as I'm looking back right now, this comment here says, you are wrong. We are in disbelief phase right now and we will make a correction. Everybody thinks we are in the hope phase, but the majority is always wrong. Well, guess what? Jason Statham, 22118. I'm not the majority, I'm the minority. I know this game, I understand how this game works. Unlike you and many others here, I really do understand this game and I can explain it to you in the most simple way ever. The most simplified way ever I can explain it to you. Child's game, it's a child's game, literally. Anyway, let's get back into it. The last time that I placed this chart, we were in the hope phase. And here's the thing guys, the hope phase is basically made for veteran traders and veteran investors that are hopeful that we will break all-time high and continue to the upside starting the bull run. Most retail investors who enter here are still very afraid that the bull run is already over and that we will start a new bear market. And this was a little bit of contradict that went on as we ranged here for long periods, that some people were saying, no, we are just making lower highs, the market will reverse very soon, we will see downside momentum. But eventually what did we do is we kept on believing our perspective, and the market continued to the upside. And for now, we are entering the optimism phase. Now here's an interesting thing. I also made a newsletter about this market sentiment. It's a very short newsletter, make sure to read it if you want to. If you don't want to, that's all right. But here's an interesting thing as well. January 9th, 2023, I bought my first full Bitcoin because I did believe that the bottom is in. And I started to accumulate ever since. Altcoins or Bitcoin, Ethereum, I started to accumulate since the absolute fucking bottom. And now this is finally paying off. Now let's look at the current market sentiment. If you look at the current market sentiment, guys, we are in extreme greed. Which means that we soon, if we quickly look back at Bitcoin, that we might soon find a resistance and make a small correction along the way. Don't forget, every bull market has its corrections, for example here and here. And these corrections are healthy. However, as we are nearing a resistance soon and as we are in extreme greed, this correction of let's say 10-15% could take alts down with around 30 to 40 to 50%. So be highly aware of that and do not over leverage as we are in extreme greed, because extreme greed eventually always reverses again and a flash crash might happen along the way. Now here's the thing, crashes during a bull market, meaning small corrections actually, are very healthy. Why is it healthy? Because it gives longevity to the bull market, it doesn't make the bull market too over-exhausted, and it doesn't go away in 3-4 months, but it takes a longer time, and perhaps as we will soon face a correction, most likely expecting at 100k, this correction could take a few weeks. Then as the upside comes again, by that time we could be a year further, and my target of the winter of 2025 being the next bottom for Bitcoin could come to fruition. So these things are very possible. But the current market sentiment is extremely greedy, and we have to be aware of that because mostly it works against us. Even in a bull market, even in the bull market, it can work heavily against us. Now, what am I paying attention to? First of all, we are paying attention to the fact that we are in the optimism phase. The optimism phase means that the rally is real. The bull market is quote unquote confirmed, and we can see further upside momentum. Now, the thing is that we have to pay attention to social behavior. Let me write that down. Social behavior. And why is social behavior so important? Because it defines online and in real life behavior. And for the people who are already for a while in crypto might know what I'm speaking about right now. By the way, guys, if you are not subscribed just yet, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. I'm almost nearing the 500 subscribers, which is just amazing. I'm very thankful for that. Anyway, back to it. Social behavior comes in two parts, like I said, online, and then of course, real life. And the real life example is the basic example in crypto. If your barber starts talking again about crypto, it might just be a good time to exit. Now you have to realize that optimism is not fully retail just yet. Retail only enters in belief, thrill, and euphoria. And once we enter here, guys, this will mean that we should take or start to take profits. Why? Because the people who enter here become exit liquidity. Definitely if they enter between thrill and euphoria, these people are guaranteed exit liquidity because these people are new. They just heard about Bitcoin hitting above 100,000. They saw on Twitter from their best friend and whatever not, that Bitcoin will now go to 200 and 300,000. And eventually what will Bitcoin and the rest of the market do? Take a big shit to the downside. It's as simple as that. So do not become exit liquidity, rather ask yourself, okay, in which stage of the psychological cycle are we and where should I take profits? By the way, if you would hear the rain on the background, I'm so sorry, but it's storming here in Thailand. It's just insane, so my apologies for that if it disturbs you. Anyway, back to it. Real life example is, again, when your barber asks you, yo bro, did you see crypto, blah, 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 blah. This might be just a good example. Or if he says, yo bro, should I buy crypto or I'm going into crypto, it means exiting. But online behavior is easier to follow because many of you who are now fully into crypto do not have friends. You guys do not have any social life whatsoever. And you guys just want to make a good amount of money, which I understand. I'm like that as well. But online behavior is very important. Definitely if you are on Twitter, aka X. X, aka Twitter, for the people who prefer Twitter, doesn't matter. For the people who are on X, you should highly pay attention to how influencers are behaving and who are not only influencers, but also how the public in general is behaving around crypto. Because you will suddenly see, as we near further into the belief, thrill, and euphoria phase, that we will suddenly see posts, which we already do actually right now, but we will see Bitcoin to 200, 300K, meaning the bottom is actually very close. Altcoins will still explode, or the altcoins are just starting, while they already did an X10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or an X100. All these type of things you will see across on Twitter. More influencers launching tokens, influencers like rappers and stuff, IG models, all these type of influencers. I mean, not like legit influencers, but these type of influencers. When they start to say, pump a token. We already saw all these type of examples in the last bull market, guys. Where we were here, we saw a lot of these influencers pump tokens, show on Twitter back then that we should buy this token and this token because it's the next big thing. But eventually, guys, they just rug pull us and we are exit liquidity for them. So do not become exit liquidity. Same here. If an influencer launches a token, do not be that stupid to buy that token. Like for example, the Haktua girl, Haley, I think her name is, will launch a token called Haktua, which, if you think about it, is just stupid because that bitch, respectfully, but that bitch doesn't know any fucking thing about crypto. The team that she will have will be inexperienced, and this will also be a rug pull. If it's not a rug pull, the market will dump it to zero anyway. Very simple. Then, another basic example is alts are just starting. Bro, alts just didn't, not at this point, but once we enter these phases here, bro, alts literally just didn't extend 20, 30, 40, 50 or an X100. What do you want more? And then of course the basic example which we already saw in the last bull market as well. When we hit at these levels here, people were screaming for Bitcoin to go to 100K this cycle. Obviously that didn't happen and we crashed down. The same will happen once we near the top of this curve chart once again. People will start to scream as we are nearing between the 120 and the $150,000 for Bitcoin. People will scream $200,000 and $300,000 Bitcoin is incoming. These will again be influencers who are shilling upon on you for you to become exit liquidity. It's as simple as that. Do not overcomplicate the ease of this chart. It's basically following this. Now, real life examples are, again, like I said, barber, but also news. I remember in the last bull market, my parents suddenly called me while I was in Spain, and they called me, hey, did you see crypto is on the news? And they are like showing it to me. I'm like, okay, that means the top is near. And I think back then, Bitcoin was around the $55,000, something like that. Somewhere here, so very, very near to the top. And then shortly after, the whole shit crashed, guys. The whole fucking shit crashed to the downside. So the news is one of your biggest social behavior awarenesses that you should have. Because again, guys, the news, these people are manipulators. You have to understand that as soon as they push something, the people that they push it for already made all their money. That's why they are making it public. Those people want exit liquidity, just like we want. I'm not gonna lie, I want the same. I want people to enter here massively so I have exit liquidity to peacefully exit those projects. It's as simple as that, but too many of you will overcomplicate it once again. So you can find this in my newsletter as well. I'm mostly observing social behavior online and in everyday interactions. It's as simple as that. Some tail signals that the market will be reaching out top include, again here, like I said, influencers heavily promoting, everyday conversations like your barber, new frequently running Bitcoin stories. Guys, it can be so simple. Just pay attention to everything that I said here. When to be aware, multiple factors again, technically and psychologically, but in terms of the psychological perspective, I'd say to be highly aware once we enter in between the stage of belief and trill. Those will likely be the periods I'll be looking to cash out once I see certain social behaviors change. And again, guys, Twitter is the perfect place for that. Let me see my feed quickly. Because my feed has been very, very bullish, which kind of makes sense with this here. And if we look here, Bitcoin 92K, we're so back. These posts are fun, but guys, you have to realize that this, or excuse me, not this, but these type of posts lead to extreme greed. So yes, it's fun to see Bitcoin back. Yes, I'm guilty of placing stories as well and placing posts as well on my Instagram that I'm extremely bullish on Bitcoin. But like for example here, like I place these stories as well, but eventually you have to realize that these are signals for us to leave the market sooner or late. Now, before I close out this video, I want to once again make you guys aware that we could see a short-term correction incoming to the market. If you look at Bitcoin in confluence with the psychological cheat sheet and in confluence with the fear and greed index, we have to realize that as we are nearing the $100,000 for one Bitcoin, that soon that psychological level here might be a resistance and we could see a flash crash, which means, again, alts will be falling down with 15, 20, 30, 40, 50%, which is okay because this means that you can buy the dip. Because after that, alts will start to explode. It's as simple as that. Alright guys, I hope this video helped. I see you in the next one.